Hey! So I just wanted to talk really quickly about my padlock. I know, ooh, super interesting, right? I ended up going with a Abus Diskus. It's not just any circular disc-style padlock, however, for reasons I will go into in just a second. This is Abus's, it's not even their most expensive disc padlock, but they rate this a 9 on their security level, which I'm inclined to believe, honestly, because there are a couple of features in this lock that make it really a lot more secure than a lot of the disc-style padlocks that you'll find out there. So why don't we take a look at what else you might find when you start looking for a disc-style padlock. I mean, first of all, why a disc-style lock instead of a square lock? It's a lot harder to get purchase on a disc-style lock than it is to get purchase on a square padlock. There are fewer hard edges. It's mostly rounded. I mean, obviously it's entirely round. So when it's hanging on whatever you've secured, it's really difficult to get at it, like with a hammer or with a cutting tool, short of, like, you know, a Dremel tool or an angle grinder. Also, the shackle itself on these disc-style padlocks is fully encased inside hardened steel. In this case, it's hardened stainless steel, which makes it really difficult to cut into the shackle because you don't have an enormous loop of shackle of unknown quality material that anyone can just cut through with bolt cutters or something. So, like I said, you can get a ton of these. They're not actually that uncommon. They're pretty easy to find. But this one is a little bit different, and I'm going to go into that in just a second. If you look up disc-style padlocks on Amazon, even Abus makes an enormous number of these things. There's a ton of them. The thing is that most of them end up being something like this, where you have a really, really conventional keyway. You know, with a normal key like you'd expect to find anywhere else. The thing about this lock is it's not quite normal, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Okay, apologies for the mic in the previous segment. Didn't catch that one until post. Yay! So what's different about this lock is it's not a normal keyway, like I was explaining. You see, this one doesn't have quite a normal, key shape, and the key itself is pretty weird looking too. It's got these weird cutouts on the side of it. What it is the Abus Plus core is a disc detainer core, which means there are a series of stacked discs inside this lock that when you insert the key and rotate it, you line up those discs with a backplate or a sidebar that once they're lined up, the core will rotate and the lock will work. So you can see how that works. It's a really neat mechanism. It just drops right in. There's no resistance at all, and this whole part of the turn, from 0 to here, there's no resistance whatsoever. It's just lining the discs up inside the core. So it's a nice beefy mechanism as well, as you can probably hear. Like, yeah, there's some definite engineering to this thing. So you can see, like, the shackle's pretty thick. It's just 10 millimeters, but it's still, like, a lot larger than you'd find in most storage unit locks that you just, like, buy at the local hardware store. And like I was saying, when the shackle's closed, it's completely shrouded here by this stainless steel that's pretty difficult. It's not impossible, but it's pretty difficult to cut through. And yeah, like I said, there's just no effort to insert the key, so it does fall out. But it's really fantastically engineered. I'm really happy with it, and I thought I would just show it off to you because it's just kind of an interesting piece of engineering. I love the sounds it makes. Made in Germany. There's no doubt. So yeah, that's my storage unit lock, and yeah, I think I know it's kind of dumb to do a lock video, but hey, you know what? Friends don't let friends buy master lock. Don't do it. Save yourself the hassle. Anyway, as always, thanks for your time, and stay beautiful. Bye.